Ever wondered how well you really see? Not just if you need glasses, but the crispness, the clarity, the fine details you can pick out in the world around you? That, my friends, is what we're diving into today. Visual acuity. Think about it. A birdwatcher spotting a rare finch perched high in a distant tree. A surgeon performing delicate work under a microscope. A pilot navigating through a hazy sky. All of these tasks rely on sharp, precise vision. But how do we measure this ability? How do we put a number on how well someone can see? For centuries, understanding and quantifying vision has been a quest. Early attempts were rudimentary, often relying on subjective assessments or simple tests like counting fingers at a distance. Imagine trying to describe your vision to someone without any standardized way to communicate it. It would be like trying to explain a color you've seen to someone who's colorblind. Then came a breakthrough, a system that revolutionized how we understand and measure sight. The Snellen chart. You've probably seen it, that iconic chart with rows of letters decreasing in size. Developed by Dutch ophthalmologist Herman Snellen in the 1860s, it provided a standardized way to assess visual acuity. The genius of the Snellen chart lies in its simplicity and its foundation in what's considered normal vision. A person with 20/20 vision, the benchmark we often hear about, can clearly see letters at 20 feet that a person with normal vision should also be able to see at 20 feet. But what happens when your vision isn't 20/20? Let's say someone has 20/40 vision. This means they can clearly see letters at 20 feet that a person with normal vision can see at 40 feet. In essence, they need to be twice as close to see the same level of detail. Conversely, someone with 20/15 vision has better than average acuity. They can see letters at 20 feet that a person with normal vision would need to be 15 feet away to see clearly. So, how do we actually calculate this seemingly straightforward ratio? It's not a complex mathematical equation, but rather a direct comparison based on standardized testing. The key lies in understanding the design and administration of these visual acuity tests. While the Snellen chart is the most well-known, other charts like the ETDRS, Early Treatment Diabetic Retinopathy Study chart, are also used, particularly in research settings. The ETDRS chart has some advantages, such as equal spacing between letters and rows, which can provide more precise measurements. However, the underlying principle remains the same: identifying the smallest row of optotypes, letters, numbers, or symbols that a person can accurately read at a specific testing distance. Let's break down the process step by step, focusing on the traditional Snellen chart. Step 1. Standardized testing distance. The first crucial element is the testing distance. Typically, this is 20 feet or 6 meters in metric systems. This standardized distance ensures that the light rays entering the eye are essentially parallel, mimicking how we see distant objects. Step 2. Presenting the chart. The Snellen chart is positioned at the designated testing distance, and the lighting is carefully controlled to ensure optimal visibility. Step 3. Testing each eye individually. Each eye is tested separately while the other eye is covered. This allows for an assessment of each eye's individual visual acuity. Step 4. Identifying the smallest readable row. The person being tested starts by reading the larger letters at the top of the chart and progresses downwards to increasingly smaller rows. The test administrator records the smallest row of letters that the person can read correctly, usually with no more than 1 or 2 errors. Step 5. Determining the Snellen fraction. Each row on the Snellen chart is associated with a fraction. The numerator of this fraction is the testing distance, usually 20 feet. The denominator represents the distance at which a person with normal vision can read that particular row of letters. For example, if a person can clearly read the row labeled 20/40, it means they can see at 20 feet what someone with normal vision can see at 40 feet. The visual acuity for that eye is recorded as 20/40. Beyond the Snellen fraction. While the Snellen fraction provides a fundamental measure of visual acuity, it's important to understand its limitations and the broader context of vision assessment. It primarily measures central visual acuity. The Snellen chart focuses on the sharpness of vision in the central part of our visual field, which is crucial for tasks like reading and recognizing faces. It doesn't fully assess peripheral vision, which is important for spatial awareness and detecting movement. It's a static test, The chart presents stationary targets. It doesn't evaluate dynamic visual acuity, which is the ability to see clearly while objects or the observer are moving. This is important for activities like driving or playing sports. It doesn't assess other aspects of vision. Visual acuity is just one component of overall vision. Other important aspects include color vision, depth perception, contrast sensitivity, the ability to distinguish between objects and their background, and accommodation, the ability to focus at different distances. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.